Hello, folks. Happy Sunday to everyone. Today we have a special guest, and he is actually a very established, very renowned astrologer. But not only does he do astrology, he knows palmistry, he knows Vastu Shastra. He has been practicing astrology since 2009. And he went to a very renowned astrology to learn astrology, a very renowned educational institute called Vishwa Jyotish Sansthan in Mumbai. He is based in Canada, and he has a very popular YouTube channel as well. So help me welcome Gautam Kamboj. Hi, Gautam.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks.
Thank you so much for hosting this amazing meeting, and it's so nice to see you.
Yeah.
And it's all my pleasure to be there on your channel and share some of the experiences and knowledge.
Yeah, please. I mean, I'm very keen on hearing your thoughts about this because for those who already know Gotham, and I'm sure there's plenty of my viewers that already know who he is very well versed in birth time rectification. So I decided to invite him on my channel to speak about this topic because it's not a topic that a lot of astrologers speak about. And there's astrologers that may do the birth time rectification, and then there's others that just either have no clue about it or just they don't do this part of their service. So he is someone who talks about it on his channel, and he's very well versed in it. He's done a presentation today for us, so we'll let you carry on from here.
Sure. Sure. Thank you so much. And I really enjoyed a lot of videos of your channel, and they are quite informative, and really like the way you go very much in-depth analysis of the Jyotisha. So, that's so great. Thank you so much, and keep sharing the light of Jyotisha always. So great.
Thank you.
All right, so let's start with today's presentation with birth time rectification, one of the very important, very significant topic in Jyotisha, and one of my specialization, which I feel, which I have achieved in last 15, almost 16 years of Jyotisha practice. So it is important topic. If any one of you is learning astrology or setting up in the astrological world, or even if you have certain interest in the Jyotisha, this is the right topic for you to watch this video. So I would request everyone to watch this video till the end, because there are going to be so many interesting facts and interesting things which we will discuss in this video. And yeah, let's start the presentation. Let me share my screen. So, birth time rectification. The topics which we will discuss today is we will discuss many topics, and I will try to explain in very easy language so that every one of you can easily understand this. And the topics which we will discuss are which are the branches of astrology, time sensitive methods, why BTR is important, twins birth concept. When twins are born, they are born with like same time, so what's the concept, how are their charts and everything. 4,000 years back, pre 19th century, how was birth time calculated? Because at that time there was no clock, there was no watch, there were no phones. So how did they calculate time? So that will be a very interesting topic to throw some light on. And current technology to measure time. These days we have so much technology, so it's easy. And can we choose birth time? A lot of people ask, like C-section. For a C-section delivery, can we get like a very good birth time for the kid so that the kid's birth chart could be very promising? Yes or no? We'll put some light on those topics too. And lastly, I will go through some methods of BTR, the birth time rectification. There are so many different methods of birth time rectification. Some are a little technical, some are very easy ones. So we'll try to figure out what works for you.
Yeah.
And you can use like any method you want, which can make it easy.
Yeah.
So
Right.
yeah, and you can ask any questions. You can, let's try to make it more interactive. And for the viewers, if you have any questions, please comment below and let us know. We can certainly help you with the answers to it. And I hope you have already liked the video. So, and supported Anahita's real, true work of Jyotisha. So, firstly, the very first topic we'll discuss is what is why BTR, like what is birth time and why it is important. So, birth time is the time when there are certain events, specifically three events, which happen at the time of the birth. One is when the baby comes out. The second event is when the umbilical cord is cut. And the third is when the baby cries for the first time. And between these three events, there could be a couple of seconds or couple of minutes of difference. When the baby is out, sometimes the baby is out, the cord is cut, but the baby doesn't cry for like 5 minutes or 3 minutes or more time. So the very first question, which I'm sure every one of you would have in the mind, is what is a birth time? What time should we consider as a birth time? Is it the time when the baby cries for the first time? Is it the time when the cord is cut and the baby is detached from the mother? Or is it the time when the baby comes out? And I met one very interesting astrologer in India, like almost 10 years back, and he was under, he used to believe that the birth time is when the baby is conceived. So that time is difficult to find, like when was the baby conceived? Yeah, we can come very close to the week of conceiving or the month, week, but the exact time, it's very difficult unless you're like very intuitive or spiritual. But as per what I have learned from my gurus and teachers, we are under this belief system that the birth time of a baby is the time when the baby is out. When the baby comes out, we should consider that as a birth time. It's like the sun is rising. So there are many different panchangs, the calendars in India, and there are two major panchang methods. One is the North India, and second is the South India panchang methods, and in which the sunrise time is different by 2 minutes. So the North India panchang system considers the sunrise time when the sun is starts right at the tip of the eastern horizon, and the southern Jyotisha concepts believe that when the sun is half up, which is 2 minutes, so that's the sunrise time. So sunrise time is like 2 minute different in our Indian panchangs, and sun takes approximately 4 minutes to like start its journey from the tip of the horizon to completely come on the horizon as a full sun. So likewise, when the sun comes out, that's the sunrise time. Likewise, when the baby comes out, that's the time we should consider as the birth time of the baby. So that's basic. There could be certain other beliefs also when the cord is cut. But yeah, we believe that the baby is out. That's about time. And the significance of birth time is very important because if we have the right time of birth, we can get the accuracy of the Chalit charts. We can get the accuracy of the Mahadasha and the Antardasha calculations to predict the actual event of people's life. And accurate birth time is the time, that's one of the major element which we need to make a birth chart. Three things are very important: the date of birth, the place of birth, and the accurate time of birth. Now a lot of people have approx time of birth, they don't have accurate time of birth. Specifically, I have been doing astrological predictions 15 years, thousands of birth charts. And whenever I get birth time as like, sometimes the client or people give birth time as 4:30 p.m., 6:30 p.m., 5 a.m. I was born at 2 a.m. or 10 a.m. These are all approx time. These are never accurate birth time. So the next time, guys, you see any birth time as 4 p.m., 6 p.m., 8:30, 10:30, these are all approx round off birth time. They are not accurate. What if it's not 10 p.m. and it's 9:58 or 10:02? That 2 to 3 minutes can bring certain differences in the Antardasha time, that can bring certain differences in certain branches of astrology like Krishnamurti Paddhati, KP astrology, divisional charts can change.
Yeah,
And sometimes when the Lagna is at the cusp, it's
yeah.
at the cusp of the Lagna at 1 degree or 29 degree, that 2 minutes can change
And
the
that's
ascendant.
difficult, right? Because that makes all the difference if your lagna is changing. Yeah.
Lagna is changing, the entire planetary
Yeah.
positions, everything changes from there. So birth time is like very, very important. So that's what the approx time versus the accurate time. Accurate time is when the clients give birth time as 10:17 or 4:36 or 12:29. When I get these time, then we get this intuition that yes,
Yeah.
time is very accurate. Whoever recorded the birth time at the time of birth, they did fantastic job in, they were very meticulous in getting the right time of birth. Versus like 4 p.m., 6 p.m., 8 p.m. No, these are never like accurate birth time. So whenever you get like 4 p.m., 6 p.m., 10:30, 12:30, try to do the birth time rectification. Try to be a little flexible and see 5-10 minutes behind or forward to check what could be the accurate time of birth for the native.
Yeah.
And some people have like no birth time. A lot of people, they say we don't know the birth time at all. In that cases, it becomes a little difficult to make the birth chart because there's a 24-hour window. It can be done, but it takes a lot of time. We have to get certain events of the person's life. Like we have to go in the back and in the past and try to see 10 to 12 major events. When was the person, completed the formal education, time of getting good job, promotion? Was there any accident? When was the child born, or time of marriage or divorce? All the prominent events, we can make a list and try to see which ascendant and which nakshatra would be the person born out of the 24-hour window. So that becomes a little challenging to get the birth time out of 24-hour time window. But even if anyone knows a approx time that, oh, I think I was born between 4 to 5 a.m.
Yeah.
I was born between 10 to 12 noon. Yes, then we can get the birth time because we know every ascendant, every lagna stays for approx 2 hours to 2 hours 10 minutes. So we can play around in that lagna and try to get the birth time
Mm.
through some calculations, which we'll do at the end of the session. Now, time sensitive branches. There are so many different branches in our Vedic Jyotisha, and some branches I feel are very time sensitive, like birth time sensitive, wherein if the birth time is changed by 2 minutes or 3 minutes or 5 minutes, that can bring tremendous changes in the birth in the charts. Versus there are some branches in which even if the birth time is like 10, 15, 20 minutes of difference, then it doesn't bring much changes. So for example, the very first branch of astrology are great divisional charts. We have like 16 divisional charts, which is also called as Sodas Varg Kundali. Um, this chart, this system is time sensitive because in divisional charts, we have certain divisions, certain charts, which goes beyond D16 or D24. All the charts are very time sensitive. For example, D24, D30, and D60, Shasti Amsha. The D60 chart, the soul of divisional chart, we call it as the karma of the soul, which can tell everything about the past life, present life, future life, karmic life, prarabdha karma, sanchita karma. Everything is visible and could be analyzed through D60.
It's a very important chart because Parashra actually puts more importance on it than even the D1, isn't it?
Right. D1, the Lagna, D9, the Navamsa, and D60.
Yeah.
So that's, D1, D9, D60 form the tricone, the triangle of the entire astrology basis. So D9, D60, you're absolutely right. D60 changes in every 2 minutes because the D60, the Shashtiyansha, changes in every 30 kala. So 30 kala is like, 30, half of 1 degree is 30 kala, which in English we call this as 30 second, 30 kala. And 1 degree is 4 minutes. So 30 kala is 2 minutes. So D60 is like changing in every 2 minutes. Whereas D9 changes in every 3 degrees and 20 kala. So 1 degree is 4 minutes. So if you multiply 3 degree, 320 by 4, so the answer is approx 12.5 minutes. So the D9 changes in every 12 to 13 minute time window, to be very precise. And so these are like very time sensitive. And also one more method, one more branch of astrology, which is the Krishnamurti Paddhati, KP astrology. KP astrology is very well advanced astrology invented by Krishnamurti sir back in 1970s, 1980s. And he was very profound inventor of this system from Chennai, Madras, India. And my teacher who taught me KP astrology had learned directly from KP sir. So I was like very lucky to have, was a second generation KP astrologer. Second generation in terms of learning the system. And KP was like very, very, it changes in every like 2.5 minutes. The KP is based on nakshatra, sublord theory. It's more of sublord and sublord theory, which is based on nakshatra. Some people call it as nakshatra paddhati also, because the entire KP astrology is nakshatra based. So that's very time sensitive. We cannot get approx time and do good predictions based on KP. So again, we need that. And then there are, I feel that certain non-time sensitive methods, Brihat Parashari Hora Shastra, like the Parashari Vedic astrology, in which the major focuses on the Lagna and major focuses on the ascendant and looking at the planetary positions. So even if the birth time I feel is different by 15, 20, 30 minutes, the birth chart remains the same. All the planetary position remains the same. Most of all the planets in the Chalit chart also remains the same. And even the Mahadasha and the Antardasha remains the same. Even if you do as per the Parashari astrology, you see a birth chart at 10 a.m. versus a birth chart at 10:20 a.m. The Antardasha will be same. Yeah. So I will deep dive into the divisional chart and the KP astrology based birth time rectification and how these systems are could be more getting more nitty into the nitty and gritty of the dashas.
And explain to us which technique you use and how is it because you would have obviously you would have experimented because you have such knowledge, such deep knowledge about this. You would have experimented with different techniques to arrive at okay, this is the thing that works for me best, right? So tell us a little bit about that as well so we can understand. Okay, so yes, I have some options of birth time rectification, right? We all because astrologers have different various ways of doing it. I have my own way of doing it also. I like to use D60 to do, if I can, with manipulating to the events and seeing and then manipulating the time to see, okay, yes, this works according to the person's life events. So explain to us, like, what is it that you prefer? Because I'm sure that you have a preferred, method of doing it also.
Absolutely. And I think you're using a very good technique, very powerful technique by yourself, the D60 and calculating the events of life. That is one of the very advanced level and very powerful technique to do the birth time rectification. That's a great one. We'll throw some light on that also.
Okay.
And before that, let's discuss about this twins birth time. So when twins are born with a difference of like 3 to 8 minutes. Their birth charts are the same. Everything is same. But why their life is so different?
Yeah.
We often see that twins are born the same ascendant charts, the same Mahadasha, but the same Antardasha. Still, they have differences in choices. One would become a doctor, other would like to get into creative field. One kid gets sick today, other kid gets sick after 3 months. One gets married today, the other gets married after 2 years. Their birth chart is same, being a twin, but their life events are different. Their life karma is different.
It's amazing. I grew up with one of my childhood friends in Delhi. Actually, they're twins. They don't look like each other, but I can tell you, like, their lives played out so differently, and even their personalities in some ways, like, quite sort of contrasting. Yeah, it's amazing to see that, actually.
Yeah, and we did a lot of brainstorming on these topics, like twins, birth chart. There are many concepts. Like one is it's karmic. Both the twins bring some karmas from the past life to this life, and based on that, they have certain differences in their life, even though having the same birth charts. But more than them, the scientific reason, what we can analyze as an astrologers, as a practicing Jyotishis, is that to identify what system can work very good in the twins birth chart. Now, Western astrology will never work because it's the same. Uh, the Parashari astrology or the Vedic sidereal system might have certain limitations because the birth charts are same. The Lagna chart, the nakshatra, the moon sign, everything is same for both the twins, but their lives are different. So now we have to go, think more about like what system can do good. In this, the D60 chart works very good because the D60 Lord and the D60 chart for twins will always be different.
Yeah.
D9 could be different, but most of the cases the D9 could be the same because 12-minute window is there for the D9 to be similar. But D60 will 100% will be. I have never seen any twin with the same D60 in life. There's always a different D60, and that changes. That 2-minute difference changes their.
It's not practically possible for the child to come out exactly at the same minute, right? Like, practically, it's just not possible for the human body doesn't operate like that. So yeah, of course it will change, isn't it? If we think about it from that rational point of view, because if we've decided that the time of birth is when you come out, not when the cord is cut, not when you take your first breath or, whatever it is, cry, it's when you come out. So of course that has to be different.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Actually, like in twins, when the twins come out at different time, like 3 to 5 minutes of difference, that's where their time of birth is being considered. So yeah, that's a good one. And yeah, twins birth time, like twins have same chart, but their Mahadasha Antardasha has a lot of it's similar, but still why their life is different. So it could it depends upon what method of dasha system do we use. There are more than 120 different methods of calculating the dasha. Vimshotri, Astotri,
Right.
Based on planets, Surya, Chandra, Mangal, based on Lagna, there are like many different methods of calculating the dasha system also.
Yeah.
So now it's a topic of it's a complete different topic of discussion of the dasha system, which could be more effective for twins birth chart specifically.
Mm.
Every branch has its own unique way to do predictions, guide the people.
Prashna is another one in South India where they don't even look at your birth chart, right? It's based on when you've entered that room and asked that question or asked. And I think maybe you also do that sometimes with clients, like you look at the time when they ask the question. But that's very useful also. Like if your intuition is developed, then I think we need, as astrologers, we need to be using our intuition anyway, right? You would, yeah.
Absolutely.
So it's just a degree to which we in our modern era, we've just become so reliant on software and this calculation being done. But actually, I think it hinders us somewhat at times, right? Isn't it?
Very true. Yeah, that's very true. Softwares are good just to get the birth chart calculations. It's not that we can't do manually. I can manually calculate the birth chart of anyone using the right longitude and latitude of the and doing certain time rectifications and things. But it takes time. But
Yeah.
the softwares are just good to get the birth chart. But for interpretation, it's here. We have to use our Jyotisha knowledge.
Yeah. Indeed.
So, and Vedic astrology has changed a lot in the last 80 to 90 years in India, I would say, in India, in the world, 80 to 90 years, because there were, so many wars happened, the Mughal invasion, so many things happened. The Nalanda University had, lakhs of books were burnt out. We lost so much. We lost so much in the transition from 300 to 500 years back and today.
Yeah.
But somehow our ancestors, like, 10 or 15 generations back, they kept on transferring the astrology knowledge through teachings. Like if I had learned astrology and I have 10 books with me, if the books are lost, but still I have the knowledge in my brain, which is like an iCloud. It works as a cloud drive. This is the drive which we have. Now, these ancestors, the cloud, the drive, these are the recent inventions which thousands of years back the rishi munis, the spiritual people, they knew this system. This is the cloud and drive. Google Drive is not something new. It existed 1,000 years back through their mind, through their generation to generation. So even they lost the books, they uh, inherited or their knowledge to their disciples, to their students.
Yeah.
And what is here will always be here and could be forwarded to the students and the further generations.
Yeah, definitely.
But back then, people had all the chakras which were very active, and they were able to do astrology through their intuitions. That's how. There was no softwares back then. There was no longitude, latitude. There was nothing. Like technology was zero, nothing. But still, they calculated the birth charts and very accurately through the intuition, through their, the visions which they had, the gifts which they had from Lord Shiva, from Saptarishis. So, technology to get the time. Of course, we discussed Kundi softwares. Systems at the hospital are very well advanced. The systems at the hospitals are very much in sync with the Google time, standard time in the world. Video recordings. Yeah, like these days the doctors, they allow video recordings and in which we can record the exact seconds of the kids.
Right.
And yeah, Google time. So we have like one standard time.
Right.
Last year, my son was born, and it was a C-section of my son. I was in the operation theater with my wife. and I had my clock ready with me. I had my phone ready with me, and I was talking to the doctor. My wife was talking to me. I was like, wait, I need to talk to the doctor. I need to get the time of birth. Being an astrologer and inside the operation theater and get and look and witnessing the birth of your child.
Wow.
It's
Yeah.
it's an important day for an astrologer to do more research. Research starts at your own place. You will start doing research on your own charts, on your kids chart, on your wife chart, husband chart, partner chart, parents chart. So that was an important day for me to record the birth time and of course to welcome a new baby at the home. But for me it was like recording the birth time. So
Mhm.
I was talking to doctor. I was like, doctor, what's the time you see in your
Yeah.
computer system, in the
Yeah.
delivery system you have? He said, yeah, it's 10:39. And I saw my time, 10:39, 10:39, doctor's time, 10:39. All the times were very much in sync with
Insane.
it. I was like, good.
And it was exactly when the child came out, right? Not when the cord is cut, not when they recorded. That's the system. Like, I'm just trying to understand. Is that the custom everywhere? Is it custom to record the time before they cut the cord?
Now, there is a difference which I have noticed
Yeah.
in the healthcare system. I would say the healthcare, the hospital systems in Canada is different than India. And of course, it will be a little different in the UK where we have the NHS. So every country has a little difference of what I have noticed in India is they calculate the birth time when the the baby is out or when the baby cries.
Mm.
But here in Canada, they consider the time when the cord is cut.
Mm.
And sometimes some doctors they record the birth time when they start the process, the procedure. That
Oh.
okay, 10:39, we are starting the operation, we are starting the delivery. Now, if it's like a C-section, they will note that time, and then the baby is out, they will note that time. There are like so many different methods of the birth time being calculated these days.
And is it fair to say that most people are born a few minutes before the recorded time?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the logical reason is doctors are very busy with the delivery, and specifically all the birth time which are coming from 1970s. So all our viewers who are born in 1960s, 1970s, 1980s, like these 30 years of time, or almost till like 1990, this 40 years, the doctors in the hospital in India or anywhere in the world, they were not much meticulous with recording the birth time because the parents were also not much, because
Yeah.
back then 40 years back, they making a birth chart and all was not much significant thing for the child, which is now it's like everyone wants accurate time in the world to make the birth chart of the people. So what used to happen is in the 1980s or 70s in the hospital is the baby is out. For example, the baby came out at the time of 10:49. 10:49 a.m. the baby is out. And then the doctor will cut the cord and do the process, put the baby in the swaddle, measure the weight, make sure palpate the baby if everything is all okay, and then finally put in the crib or give it to the parents. And then doctor will clean up and everything, return to its office, and now it's a time for the doctor to write the birth time on the birth certificate. So what doctors used to do is, okay, they used to see the clock, 11 a.m. All right, 11 a.m. Approx 11 a.m. But the baby was out at 10:49, like almost 11, 12 minutes before.
Right. Yeah. Makes sense.
So
That makes sense.
90% of the birth time rectifications from India is always before time. And in Canada is opposite. It's after. That's what my research is. Now we have to be a little flexible and it could be the reverse. But 90% what I have noticed is 90% of the birth, when I make the birth chart of clients from India, their birth time is always before time. naturally. And in Canada, it's always ahead.
So
And
in India, you will say that the actual birth time is 10 to 12 minutes before what's written.
yeah,
And in Canada, the actual birth time is 10 to 12 minutes after it is written.
yes, could be, possibly, could be 5 to 10 minutes after.
It's a kind of a generalization, but yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's the research. It's a matter of research,
Yeah.
which I did, and the realization of this research was happened only when we had babies, we had kid in our family. So I have a daughter. She was born in 2020, C-section. I was in the operation theater in 2020, and 2023 last year we had a son, and again I was in the operation theater. So I was in the OT twice in my life and noted the accurate time with seconds of their birth,
Wow.
with accurate seconds. And then I realized that what the Canadian doctors do here versus what the Indian doctors do is a little different.
Yeah, no, that's good knowledge to have, isn't it? And you can only get that from experience, like seeing it firsthand or doing a lot of charts and asking around, like because it's important to understand what are they doing over there. The people that are recording the time, the doctors and nurses, how are they doing it? It's important to understand that, right? Because we started this chat with like talking about, what do astrologers consider the time of birth? Like, what is that moment? And we had said that, okay, astrologers agree that it's when you come out, not when you take your first breath or cry, but rather when you come out, not when the cord is cut, isn't it? So it's nice to know that. It's nice to know that.
And I witnessed this in person in the hospital. When my son was born, the doctors, when the baby came out, and the doctors were like, okay, baby's here with the umbilical cord. But when the baby was actually out, and when I saw my son, when I saw the baby in the air, there was a little difference of almost 25 seconds, 25 seconds. When I came home, and after a month, I prepared the birth chart of my son. A little like 25 second, half a minute difference was there, which was okay because the doctor, pulled the baby out at the C-section time and put in the air. So he was could be doing something because there was a
Of course.
little cloth between my
Yeah.
wife's face and the, where they were doing the C-section.
Yeah.
So 25 second difference was there, but that didn't bring any change to the charts or D60 or anything. So we were good.
Right. Great. Yeah, but that's because that's we're in the modern era. You're an astrologer. You were in the operation room. All of those factors are leading to an accurate time of birth, but most of the time we don't have any of those factors present, isn't it? Like I was born in the 70s in India.
Yeah.
I was born breech, and I was not breathing when I came out. They had to put me in an incubator. So what is the time of birth? Isn't it? It's right. You have to see. So I've done rectification here and there too.
Right.
I think I know.
Yours will be almost like the time would come behind because it was a breach. So definitely couple of minutes of it might go like behind.
Yeah. So I don't know. Does the doctor record it as when I took my first? Because they do notice that. Like that's a thing. Like when you cry for the first time, that's considered.
Yeah.
Isn't it? That's considered my what do you say? My entry into the world is when I cry for the first time. A lot of cultures they feel like that's that moment. So
Yeah. Yeah.
you see that difference.
Many cultures they believe when the baby cries, that's the birth time.
Yeah. And that was how it was in India. That was the belief.
True.
But that's interesting to know all that. That's good.
Now, as you can see on the screen, very, very interesting question. Can we choose birth time? Because I get so many clients, like they're like C-section Uh, and they're like, Gotham, please give us very good birth time for the kid so that the kid. There was a client, very interesting client, and she was like, Gotham ji, please give such a birth time for the kid. I want my kid to become the next Narendra Modi of India.
Amazing. Do you know what Chinese people do this? Do you know Chinese people do this? They want their child to be born like in a year of the dragon or something like that. Do you know that? So they wait to
Yes.
get pregnant. Yeah.
So now that's a big question. Like, should we get the time? I feel that there are two times in our life which we cannot control. One
Yeah.
is the birth time, and the second is the death time. No doctor, no one in the world can control the death time nor the birth time. Birth and death are in the God, in the hands of Almighty, in the God, in the Creator's time. We cannot alter the time of birth, which
Yeah.
the universe wants for the baby to come. I had both the babies, both were C-section, and I never gave any emphasis on the time of birth. Like the doctors, they did ask, like, do you need any time? I like, okay, we were like very flexible, very open. Let the child be born at any time. Let the child bring its own luck. It
Exactly.
is
I,
universe, and
I agree.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. We cannot force that. Okay, I want the birth to be at 13:56 p.m. No, let the child be born at any time and bring their own luck.
Yeah.
What is more important, if it's a C section, for all the viewers, I would say it is okay to see a lucky day. It is okay to see a good day wherein the child is born healthy. And if it's a C section, it's one of the biggest surgery for any woman. That's the biggest surgery. There like lot of things happen.
Yeah.
Post maternity, pre-maternity. That's a big surgery, one of the big surgery, I would say. It's healthy to choose a day of delivery, but not the time. Let the time be anything, but the day is okay, I would say. A right Mahurat, a good day when the baby is born healthy, and it's good for both the mommy and the baby. That's more important.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that lady who wanted their son to be like the next Narendra Modi, and she was sitting with me for like 4 hours, and it was so much of calculations, back and forth, going into the nitty and gritty of the D60. Like, I wanted the best D60 to under which the baby should be born, D9 and D60 chart for the next Narendra Modi. However, I gave the birth slot. So it was approximately like I told them, if the child is born between 337 to 342, then it will be very good. But you see how universe works. On the day of delivery, there was something by the doctor. They delayed something or something happened, and the kid was not born in that time slot. It was born 4 to 5 minutes later on when the D60 changed naturally.
Right.
I told the lady, I can give time, but there is no guarantee that the child will be born. It will be difficult for you. And it happened on the day of delivery. Then the birth time was ahead. Whatever the universe wanted the time for
Yes.
the
Yes.
baby.
Yes.
So we can't control the birth time and death time.
No.
And yeah. All right. So let's come towards the last part of how to do the birth time rectification. What are the different methods? There are easy methods, there are boring methods, there are there are very advanced level methods also. So there are many methods. So we'll just quickly go through the method which I follow, and one of the very easy method also I want to share with all our viewers if they are learning astrology and they can use in their astrological research. So what I follow the KP astrology, the Krishnamurti Paddhati astrology to calculate the birth time, and using Prashna Kundali. So KP Astrology, KP sir was from Chennai, and some time back we were discussing that the Prashna Kundli is very much significant in the southern part of India. That's where Prashna Kundli is more stronger. Now it's like everywhere. So I use Prashna Kundli and then the KP Astrology and match it and try to see what universe has the right time for the baby or for the native.
Okay.
That is a little technical. We'll definitely go through one example.
Yeah.
But before that, there is also one very easy method. Like if all the viewers know astrology, then this method could be easy. For example, and this method is called as the Navamsa, using the D9 to get the right time of birth. D9 Navamsa is associated with the ninth house of the birth chart. D9 Navamsa is about the luck, the fortune, because ninth house, the Navam Bhav, the ninth house of astrology, speaks about the luck factor which we have in this life fortune. Fifth house is a past life karma. This ninth house is this life karma. So it speaks a lot about how lucky is a person. It all depends on D9, and you have to check how lucky you would be in this life. If the D9 chart is prominent, it will be very successful life. So D9 is also associated with the personality of the person. The personality. Now, personality means conscious mind, subconscious mind, and personality traits. How we look, our face, our height, body, our hair, nose, eyes, ears. Are we slim? Are we healthy, chubby? Do we have very symmetric face, or do we have like a very round face, like moon?
Yeah.
So based on the personality, we can do the birth time.
Okay.
Now,
so are you suggesting, for example, if we look at the D9 and the ascendant is Moon Lagna or Taurus Lagna, then we can, okay.
Absolutely. You got it right. You got it very, very right. So based on the Navamsha Lord, the Navamsha Lagna, you have to check your Navamsha and what zodiac sign do we have in the Navamsha. That will be the Navamsha Lord. So for example, if the Navamsha Lord is Cancer, which means that the D9 Lord is Moon, and Moon is round in face. So if a person has like a roundish, happy face like a moon, then the D9 Lord is Moon. So this technique is good to rectify the birth time in a very easy way. For example, you look at the birth chart, and in the birth chart says that the D9 is Gemini, which is shorter, smaller kind of face, very baby face, young looking face, baby face, but not round. It's a little small kind of a face, with more hair. So, and the client or the native has a round face. Now that doesn't match. The personality of the actual native doesn't match with what the birth time is given by the client. And you see the birth time as 10 a.m. Now you definitely know that 10 a.m. is absolutely not the accurate time of birth. That's the approx time of birth. So now you will question yourself, okay, let me check a Navamsha before or a Navamsha after to see. And after Gemini comes is the Cancer Navamsha. And which would be like 4, 6 minutes, 8 minutes ahead of that. And when you set the Navamsha as Cancer, and this matches with the face personality or the personality traits of the person, that's where you can rectify the right birth time.
Right. Okay.
The only thing is, in this, you need to understand and research and learn more about all the personality traits of all the 12 different zodiac signs, 12 different, Navamshas from Aries. how does Aries Navamsha look? How does Taurus Navamsha look? How does Gemini Navamsha look? How does Pisces Navamsha would look? Every Navamsha is different in terms of the personality trait, and you can do that research. There are many good books are there, online YouTube videos, and try to understand the personality of the the native and try to match it.
Okay.
Let's come to the method which I use to do the birth time rectification using the KP astrology, using the Prashna Kundli, and also trying to match the personality with the
Yeah.
person.
And when you say Prashna Kundli, you mean when the person asked you the question? Am I understanding it correctly?
Exactly. When we sit to do the birth chart, to make the birth chart, the very first thing which I do is start with the birth time rectification. So very first thing is, remember the God, pray that Ganesha, please help to identify the right birth time of this soul, and whatever the universe wants us to get the right birth time. With the name of the God, we start the process. We make the Prashna Kundli of the time when we start making the birth time, making the birth chart. And then in Prashna Kundli, there will be a series of nakshatras, and the native would have a series of nakshatra from its birth chart. And what we do is we try to synchronize, we try to match what the birth chart of the native have and what today the universe wants to have it. And we just try to synchronize it and try to get the right birth time out of this synchronization, getting in sync. That's the only method. But I can explain you, or maybe if you guys are okay, I can give you an example of how it's done. Right. So let's name it as Mr. XYZ. Of course, we don't tell the name of the person due to confidentiality. The person was born, this Mr. XYZ was born on, the Mr. XYZ, he connected with me like last week to get the birth chart, and I got the birth details. So the birth details are April the 4th, 1987. The place of birth was New Britain, which is a city in Connecticut, USA. And the time of birth given by the client was 9:15 a.m. And that rang a bell. I was like, 9:15 may be accurate because the native is born in 87, but there could be a little difference in the time. So the very first step which I did was BTR, birth time rectification, done on September the 6th, 2024, which was like Friday at 20:51 p.m. Canada, Eastern Standard Time, or you can call it as Toronto time, 20:51 p.m. At 20:51, what I did was I did the Prashna Kundli, and in Prashna Kundli, we get the ruling planets. At the time of when I started this process, the ruling planets, which is also called as Shashak Graha. Shashak Graha or ruling planets is typically LLSRD, or we call it as LSRD system by KP Astrology in South. So what it means is at the time of 2051, we have to write down the ruling planets. So the ruling planets come in the form of nakshatra 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is L, L, S, R, D. The first L means the first L out of which it means is Lagna. Lagna's nakshatra. So the Lagna's nakshatra was Venus. The second L was Lagna Lord, which was Mars. The third S means that Moon nakshatra. So the Moon nakshatra Lord was Mars. Fourth R is Moon was in the sign of it was in the sign of Venus's zodiac sign, which is Venus. And the fifth is the day lord, which is Venus again, because Friday is ruled by the planet Venus. Like every day is a different, like Sunday is sun, Monday is moon. So we first write down this LLSRD concept. And these are the 5 nakshatras, which were the Prashna Kundli. And now we write down the birth ascendant of the native. The birth ascendant was Gemini at 2 degrees and 37 Kala. So 02 is Gemini, where we write a sign behind. So 02 means Gemini. 03 will mean Cancer. So it's a Gemini ascendant at 2 degree and 34 second. And based on this, the Lagna Lord is Mercury, because Gemini ruled by Mercury. And in between this one, this is the Nakshatra Lord, which is Mars. And this is the sub-lord, which was Ketu. So I got these information ready from the the birth chart of the native. Now the next step was to do the synchronization of this versus the Prashna Kundli. And the KP astrology method of doing the birth time rectification, the definition is to match the sublord of the of the native, the sublord. And here we have the sublord as Ketu. So Ketu is the sublord given by the native, and I have to check whether this sublord is right or is there any difference. In this process, what we do is we try to see which is the first. This is the first planet, second planet, third, fourth, fifth. So we try to take the very first planet as insignificance, or sometimes the second also, but first planet is what we consider as the sublord. And looking at this Prashna Kundli, I immediately knew that Ketu is not accurate. Venus is the accurate sublord. So instead of Ketu, it should be Venus as a sublord. That will be the right birth time of the native. So what I did was I considered Venus as a sublord. Now, where did I find Venus is this is the sublord book invented by Krishnamurti Paddhati sir, in which we have all the ascendants and all lids detailed: Lagna Lord, Nakshatra Lord, Sublord, Sub, and Sub. So it's like very detailed oriented. I'm sure some of the viewers would be looking at this book for the very first time and would be thinking that is it like a rocket science or something? But if you understand this book, if you have learned KP astrology, then you know the sublord theory, and this book helps in the getting the right sublord.
How did you determine that it was Venus?
Yeah. because in the Prashna Kundli, Venus came at the very first rank. The rank 1 was Venus, and the client, the native, gave Ketu.
Yeah.
So, and if you know the Mahadasha cycle, after Ketu Mahadasha comes is Venus Mahadasha, right? So this KP Astrology, this book of Sublord, which is available on Google also. You can Google the KP Sublord table book, and you can find this book there if you want, and you can check this book. So in this book, I opened the Gemini Ascendant page, and in the Gemini Ascendant page, the Ketu Sublord is here. The Ketu Sublord is here. But in our Prashna Kundli, the universe says Ketu is not the right sublord. After that, Venus is the right sublord, which comes almost like 3 minutes exactly after Ketu is the Venus sublord. So I selected Venus because universe told me that Gotham, the first rank is Venus, so Venus is the sublord for this native, not Ketu. So I considered Venus as the sublord, and I rectified the birth time. I finished the birth time, which was, let's get back to our board. It's right here, sorry. Thank God. So yeah, so Ketu was not the right sublord for this native, and I selected this Venus as a right sublord over here. And the right, so B.ASC means birth ascendant, and R.ASC means the right ascendant. And the right ascendant of the person was Gemini 3 degree and 26 second. The client gave 2 degree, and I found that 3 degree and 26 is accurate version, which is the Lagna Lord is Mercury, the Nakshatra Lord is Mars, and the Sublord is Venus. Why Venus? Because here universe told me in the Prashna Kundli that Venus is the sublord. And I took that as the birth time. Now between 2 degree 37 second and 3 degree, there is a difference of almost 3 minutes which came. So the client, the native gave the birth time as 9:15 a.m. This was the 9:15 a.m. sublord, and what I found was 9:18 a.m. is the right time and not 9:15. So 9:18 is the time which I took as like the accurate time. Now 3 minute of difference, the Lagna chart remained the same. The Navamsha changed. Navamsha changed, and D60 also changed. D9 and D60 changed. Why? Because the person was born at 3, at 2 degree and 36, 2 degree and 37, and the Navamsha changes at 320. So 0 to 320 is now 1 Navamsha, 320 to 640, 640 to 10, 10 to 1320, 1640, 20. So every 320 it changes. Native gave us 237, 2 degree 37, but I changed to 3 degree and 26. So it is going beyond 320. So that's how the Navamsha changed. At 2 degree 37, in Gemini, the first Navamsha of Gemini is always Libra. The first Navamsha of Gemini is always Libra because it starts with the air element, Vayu Tattva, which is Libra. So the second Navamsha of Gemini ascendant will be Scorpio. After Libra comes a Scorpio. And the native's personality also matched a lot with Scorpio.
Okay. Right. So you have to see all of those things, right? And they're all adding up. Yeah. It's not just,
Yeah.
Okay, great.
That's the method. I'm sure this part of the video might have made a lot of sense to a lot of viewers, but might not to some, because birth time rectification I teach to my students, and I have seen that it takes time to absorb this method. It takes time with practice. Practice makes us perfect. And only after 10, 15 examples, that will make sense that, oh yeah, this is how to use the Prashna Kundli, the LLSRD with the sublord, and trying to get the right sublord or sub nakshatra of the person.
This is great. Nobody's talked about this on YouTube. This is fantastic. Yeah.
My guru, his name is late Shri Mukesh Shah from Mumbai, very renowned, very practical astrologer he was. Mukesh sir understood this birth time in 2 minutes. When he was learning from his teachers, he understood within 2 minutes that how to synchronize the Prashna Kundli with the birth time, the birth ascendant degree which the person gives within 2 minutes.
Wow.
I personally took 3 to 4 lectures. Like every lecture I used to take for an hour or two. I dived deep. I took 3 to 4 lectures. Some of my friends, they took forever to understand this. Some of my friends, they never understood this.
And this is the method that you always use. I mean, this is your go-to method. Do you have another method, or this is pretty much?
This is the number one method to match the sublord of your birth chart with the Prashna Kundli birth chart using this KP sublord book.
Yeah.
That's the go-to method which I use, which has worked very fantastic for me over the last 15 years.
And it's quick, isn't it?
And the other method is the first method which I was talking about, the personality match method.
Okay, fine.
You have to see the personality, and it works. That also works very good, because if someone says that, okay, I'm Aries Navamsha, but the native doesn't look like an Aries. The native looks like Pisces. Now the Pisces personality is the body will be very healthy, fluffy body. The face will be also very heavy, round face, very, very healthy. Or you can say obese also. In some cases, Pisces is obese.
Right. And
Aries,
sorry, finish. Aries would be?
And Aries is not obese. Aries is muscular because Mars. Aries is a very lean face, sharp nose, lean face, and very muscular.
Right. Yeah. And where can we find out attributes of the signs?
Attributes of the signs you can find out by reading some of the books on. Now, this attributes of sign is very similar in the Western astrology also. Any form of astrology would have a similar, how does the personality traits of Aries look like, Gemini look like.
You also consider the Lord, right? Like, for example, you gave a good example with the Pisces, right? The Lord is Jupiter, which is heavy. It's a heavy planet. So
the Lord, the Navamsha Lord. If it's like a Pisces Navamsha versus Aries Navamsha, it will be totally a difference of, thing.
Okay, fantastic. Well, that's really helpful.
I have done some videos on physical traits and attributes of zodiac signs in the past. So maybe if any viewer want to watch and learn about, you can just watch the start of the video. I've included that.
Yeah, I'm going to put your link below, and people can reach out to you and click on your channel and because there's a lot of useful information on Gautam's channel actually, so you can have a look there. But no, this was really good. This is fantastic, and I liked how you kind of really simplified it. It shows that you have done this a lot. That you have a lot of practice and you're quite confident. So we enjoyed it. I'm sure many people learned really gem of a knowledge, isn't it? It's very useful. It's very practical knowledge. So Thank you so much. And thank you for taking the time out on a Sunday to come and speak to us.
No, it was pleasure is all mine to share the knowledge. And I have seen your videos. Your channel is fantastic. The way you go into logically go into very detailed. I've seen your videos. You don't go very fast. You explain a sentence, take a pause, meditate on that, and then explain the next sentence. That's amazing. You are not in rush, and you take your own time and very nicely explain it. And
Yeah.
the other day I was watching this video, and my wife also got hooked to your channel, and she wanted to watch a video on the axis, the Rahu and Ketu, and you have done very great videos on Rahu in fifth house, Rahu in sixth house versus Ketu in fifth house,
Right.
Ketu in sixth house, Ketu in first house. Those are the videos which we need more about learning those planets and various houses. So that was fantastic.
In fact, I've decided to do that. I've decided to do more videos on, like, I'm gonna do like a maybe conjunction series, and because I do need to do that because my channel is lacking that, and I just haven't had time. But I'm gonna thank you for mentioning that. But it was lovely. It was really, really, really lovely to have you, and maybe we'll do this again. It was fantastic, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Anahita. It was a pleasure meeting. And for the viewers, I would say you guys were fantastic viewers. Watch this, entire video one more time if you want to go more dive deep into it. And one request to all the viewers to share this video with all your friends, all your astrologer buddies, and families who want to learn astrology. And let's learn everyone together. So thank you so much, and wish you all the very best and good luck, guys.
Yours.
Take care.